All right, let's dive into one of the world's most, well, traditional industries, death care. I mean, it seems like it's set in stone, right? But believe it or not, a quiet digital evolution is happening right now, and it's already deciding which businesses are going to survive and which ones, well, are going to be left behind. So that's a fair question, right? You see these old established places closing down, and you might think, wow, is the whole industry just dying out? But that's not really what's going on here.
No, actually, the reality is a lot more interesting. The industry isn't dying, not by a long shot. It's transforming. And you know what? The businesses that don't get that, those are the ones in real trouble.
Okay, so what does this big shift actually look like? Well, it's not about a lack of need. I mean, that's a constant. It's about a complete, fundamental change in how people make one of the most difficult decisions they'll ever face. And this, right here, is the absolute heart of the matter. Look, people are always going to need the services of funeral homes. That part isn't changing. But the way they choose one, the old ways, driving by the same building you've seen for years, or just knowing a family name for generations, that's what's disappearing. The whole selection process has been flipped on its head.
And this new way of choosing, it starts in one place, and pretty much one place only, online, the internet. That's where the first impression is made. And honestly, that's often where the final decision gets made too.
So just think about the new customer journey for a second. A family in need, they don't get in the car anymore. They pull out their phone. First thing they do is search online. Then they're comparing websites side by side. They're reading reviews from total strangers, and they fully expect to find modern tools to help them. And all of this happens before they even think about picking up the phone to call someone.
And I really want to stress this point. This isn't some far-off future trend. This isn't a prediction. This is happening right now. This is how most families are already doing it. It's the new normal, plain and simple.
And what this creates is something we can call the visibility shift. See, the phone calls from families aren't just vanishing into thin air. No, they're just moving. They're being rerouted to the funeral homes that are easy to find, the ones that look professional, and the ones that just feel trustworthy online.
So because of this shift, the industry is basically splitting down the middle. It's creating these two completely diverging paths, leading to two very different kinds of businesses with two very different futures.
Okay, so on one side, you've got the digitally visible homes. They're easy to find online, their website looks professional, they've got strong reviews, and they offer modern support. But then on the other side, you've got the digitally invisible ones. These are the places coasting on a reputation that, frankly, younger decision makers have never even heard of. They've got a limited online presence, and their website, if they have one, just looks outdated.
And I mean, the outcome here is completely predictable, isn't it? When a family is going through a moment of incredible stress and uncertainty, which one are they going to choose? They're always going to go with the option that looks clear, professional, and reassuring. They naturally gravitate to that first group.
So why is this gap widening? And why is it happening so fast? Well, it all comes down to a generational handover. The people who are now the primary decision makers, they're digitally native. They grew up with this stuff. They are totally comfortable making huge choices online. They expect things to be clear and simple. And if they can't understand a business from its online presence, they're just not going to choose it, period.
But here's the big twist in all of this. For all our talk about websites and Google searches, this isn't really a story about technology. Not at its core. It's actually about something much more human. And this is the absolute key. A digital presence is simply the new way that families figure out who they can trust. A professional-looking website, strong online reviews, clear information, those aren't just tech specs. They are the new signals for trust. They're basically the 21st century version of a firm handshake and a well-maintained building.
And this really shows you how much things have changed. Trust used to be built on physical familiarity, on community memory, on a reputation built over decades, the old trust. But the new trust? That's built on things you can see and evaluate on a screen in just a few minutes. Accessible info, online reviews, a professional appearance. It's a whole new ballgame.
And for the businesses that choose to ignore all this, the consequences are serious. But it's not like a sudden collapse. It's more like a slow, quiet erosion. The phone just rings a little less each year. The callers you do get are just shopping for the lowest price. Your brand recognition in the community starts to fade. You find it harder and harder to attract new families, and you're left relying on a shrinking customer base of older folks.
It's like that old saying goes, this happens slowly, then suddenly. And that's the real danger here. This whole shift feels gradual, like you can manage it, right up until the day you can't. You wake up one morning and realize that most of the community doesn't even know who you are anymore.
But look, this isn't all doom and gloom. This whole shift, it's not just a threat. For the businesses that actually see what's happening, this is one of the biggest opportunities the industry has seen in, well, forever. Why? Well, because so many funeral homes are still stuck in the old way of doing things. That means the ones who do embrace this digital shift, they gain a massive, almost unfair advantage. They pretty much become the only clear, logical choice in a sea of confusing or totally invisible options.
And really, this is the mindset that's going to win. The funeral homes that will thrive in the future get one crucial thing. Their service doesn't start when a family walks through the front door. It starts the second that family picks up their phone and searches for help online. Their website, their reviews, their online information, that is the very first act of care they provide.
So when you boil it all down, it comes to this. The future of funeral homes, it's going to be decided by who families can see, who they can understand, and who they can trust before they even make a call. The winners and losers won't be decided by who has the longest history, but by who can earn that trust through a screen. That future is being decided online, right now, long before a phone ever rings. And that, right there, is a fundamental change that redefines everything.